Time now for sports on 104.7 The Cave. Here's Ned Reynolds.
Mike, the intern, Ned Reynolds, in the studio on a Tuesday morning. The Cardinals are living the dream. Is that 9 in a row? What's the deal?
9 in a row. 9 in a row. We are going to talk about it a little bit later on in the next segment. But, yeah, they won 9 straight now, and this is really incredible.
It's good. Hopefully they can keep consistent throughout the rest of the year. There's still a long way to go. But we got one more day before the official all the games schedule for the NFL gets released. They've slowly been trickling some of those out. First one starts with your boys and the Cowboys.
The National Football League is very clever the way they do this. They purposely leak some of that information a couple of days ahead of time. That's the way the NFL operates, folks. It's the greatest marketing agency in the world, and they do this with a purpose. It whets the appetite. Oh, my gosh, they're playing these guys. What else is going to happen? And all that sort of thing. Well, it is not a rule, as I think many people think, but it's rather a courtesy the NFL extends to the Super Bowl champions. They don't have to open the season, but most of them will on a Thursday night. Who wouldn't? Anyway, the Philadelphia Eagles will open up the season Thursday night, September 4th, and this is a bit odd because they're playing a division rival, the Dallas Cowboys. That doesn't usually happen in an opening game, but it is this year. So that's the first game, and then the season. I assume, I haven't seen this, and nobody else has either, that the game in Brazil will probably be on Friday night, the way it was last year. But again, that all remains to be seen. But the opener is set, the Eagles and the Cowboys, on September 4th.
And the Chiefs get another Christmas Day game. They're playing Christmas night.
Yes, Christmas night, and there are 3 games. 3 games on Christmas, 3 on Thanksgiving, as always. Hey, the Christmas ones, the NFL has said to the NBA, so you think you own this day, huh? Well, we'll just see about that.
I think they made a big deal about saying the Chiefs weren't going to be a Christmas Day game team, kind of like the Bears in Thanksgiving, but it seems to be for the last several years we have been. So I kind of like my Christmas days being low key and not
they're the biggest for all.
I know.
You can't. The NFL, they may say everything's equal, but it isn't equal. If you have a team that gets a lion's share of the TV audience, there's where your money is, and it'll be the Chiefs. Yeah. I have to think it will.
Speaking of trailing the money, NBA draft was yesterday, and I'm not one.
Not the draft. This is the lottery.
The lottery for the draft. Excuse me. And I'm not that big into conspiracy theories, but man, I know you're shaking your head no, but it smells like a rigged situation to me, dude. The fact that they trade Luka away, they get a 1.8% chance of getting the first round pick, and here we go with the Dallas Mavericks getting Cooper. To me, it's like it stinks of silver. That's what it smells like right now.
Well, they don't have him yet. The draft doesn't come up until the end of the NBA season. But you would have to assume that's who Dallas will take. But what they do, they put these, ping pong balls in a big rotator of some sort, and there are how many teams? There are probably 14 or 15 teams involved in this thing. You don't necessarily have to be among the losers. That's the way it was originally designed. But the Dallas Mavericks did get the top choice. And they, as you mentioned, had a 1-point chance of winning the thing. That's the lottery. And you would assume that's who they'll go after is Cooper Flag. But interestingly enough, the San Antonio Spurs, 2 Texas teams get the top 2 choices. And then I think Philadelphia's third and so forth and so on. But the big losing teams, the Washington Wizards and people like that, they don't fall right at the very top. They come down just a little bit, so the better players are going to some pretty good teams. I can't buy the conspiracy. Can't buy it. Don't want to buy it.
I know you don't want to buy it, but there's something also that you mentioned, the ping pong balls, which no one has seemed to see, and they don't show that at all. So
I missed it. Did they not?
No,
put
they
them
don't. No.
You think somebody has a hand in there?
Well, I mean, if we're going to make it legit, let's just do it just like the 10 o'clock news, have the nice, lovely lady come out there with the ball machine and do it the way it's supposed to be done, except for we just got a bunch of guys standing there and he holds a card up and it's like, that's interesting. I'll be telling you right now, if they end up in Vegas in the next 5 to 10 years, you got yourself a conspiracy.
Mike the Conspirator.
Yeah, and I'm not the only one. Just go online and Google it. You can tell everyone. Even Mavericks fans are calling shenanigans. What time today do the all-state football standout from Nixa make his college announcement?
He is Missouri's Football Player of the Year, and he is a big-time star. This is Jackson Cantwell from Nixa, all 6'8", 310 pounds of him. He's the top choice. He's the number one recruited athlete in the country. We've had these before here in Springfield, and many of you remember in the past. Cantwell is not only a brilliant athlete, he's also a brilliant student. He's going to make his college choice. It was down to four 2 weeks ago, but he still had some finite choices or circumstances to explore. But Ohio State, Oregon, Miami, and these were among the three, and Georgia. They were the four teams. So it'll be probably one of those four who he makes his choice, and that'll be at 2:45 this afternoon down at Nixa High School.
We briefly talked about this in our last conversation, but the Cardinals are 9 in a row, baby.
Yeah, this is, and I think it was accurately described, it's an oft-used phrase, but living the dream, they are, folks. They're getting everything going their way, and it's a fortunate streak that the Cardinals have gotten into, and my gosh, they're making the most of it. Beat Philadelphia last night 3-2, did it with only 5 hits. That's all they had was 5 hits, but their pitching is coming to the fore. Matt Liberatore last night, and then Ryan Helsley in relief in the ninth inning got Philadelphia out. This is pretty good. It was a Mason Wynn solo home run in the 7th inning. Mason Wynn, of all people. Now, he can hit the long ball, but he's not on whom you usually rely. And he got the winning run, 3-2, and the Cardinals have made it 9 in a row. Still aren't in first place, but they are knocking at the door, to say the very least, and making the Chicago Cubs think twice about what the Redbirds have. Anyway, they'll go for number 10 in a row tonight in Philadelphia. This is pretty good, folks, pretty good.
Speaking of pretty good, my Kansas City Royals are doing pretty much the same thing on the other side, facing off with the Astros yesterday, and it came down to the defense this time.
Well, it did. The Kansas City Royals got a quick 7-0 lead in this game with some really solid hitting. Bobby Witt Jr. and Jonathan India, the leadoff man, who is not a big-time hitter, had 3 hits last night as well. Vinny Fascantino came through with some big shots, and Kansas City ended up with 11 hits in this game and beats the Houston Astros 7-5. Now it's 7-0 at one point. Astros, who are not the Astros of the past, but they're still a pretty good team, came roaring back and made it a close game, but Kansas City held on, got the win, and that's big for the Royals because they were coming off a 3-1 loss to Boston.
Yeah, they needed to right the ship, especially after that series. But, man, that double play at the end of the game was definitely for the highlight reels. Do we think that the Rockies are going to be worse than the White Sox last year?
There's a chance they will be.
Wouldn't that be, after what the White Sox did last year, which is like one of the most historically worst seasons in the entire...
Not one of them. It is the historically worst.
History of baseball.
121 losses,
come on,
and now you have another team knocking, and I hesitate to say this, but knocking at the door of infamy. They are projected, if they're streaking, they've got to do better than this, but they're projected to lose 134 games. You play 162 and you lose 134, you don't fire the manager. You fire that front office. That is awful. You can't have anything like this.
It's just, but it also goes back to the argument about the whole money situation in Major League Baseball and what you're required to do and what you can get away with. And that's where, right then and there, speaks volumes. And that's all I'm going to say about that. We did talk about the lottery situation in the NBA last hour. We don't need to go there again, but definitely another dramatic-filled evening in the playoffs.
We are seeing a changing of the guard, I think, in my opinion. New York Knicks beat the Boston Celtics last night, 121-13. The Knicks lead that series 3-1, go back to Boston, a New York win there, and that series is all over. And the Knicks will play the winner of Cleveland and Indiana, and that right now looks like Indiana. Also, the Boston Celtics lost their star player. Jason Tatum went out with what appeared to be a serious ankle injury. We'll find out more about that today when he has an MRI, but you lose him, you've lost your heart and soul. He was on the way to a 40-point night last night and suffers that ankle injury late in the game. Boy, that hurts.
That Achilles tear, dude, if that's what it is.
Well, it was a twist when he went down. He was playing defense, chasing a guy who'd made a steal, and somehow that ankle got twisted. It just wasn't very good. Now, the Minnesota Timberwolves. No, I challenge the casual sports fan to even know that Minnesota has an NBA team because they don't get that much publicity. But they're very, very good. And they have a 3-1 lead over the Golden State Warriors. 117-110 was the final last night. Timberwolves win it in San Francisco, in the San Francisco-Oakland area. Golden State on the verge of being eliminated now, trailing 3-1. In hockey, Carolina defeated Washington, and Edmonton knocked off Las Vegas. The playoffs continue.
Ned, you have a wonderful Tuesday, and I'll see you tomorrow.